Ancient giant 7 to 8 foot skeletons uncovered in Ecuador have been sent for scientific testing. Strikingly tall skeletons uncovered in Ecuador and Peru, Amazon region, are undergoing examinations in Germany. This is by Danish News Post. Strikingly tall skeletons uncovered in the Ecuador, Peru, Amazon region undergoing examination in Germany, according to a research team headed by British anthropologist Russell Dement. Will these remains prove that a race of tall people existed hundreds of years ago deep in the Amazonian rainforest? According to the Conca news site, since 2013, the team has found half a dozen human skeletons dating to the early 1400s and the mid-1500s, which measure between 7 and 8 feet tall in height. Let's remember, at that time, people were about 4 feet height. Now, Dement said, "We are very early in our research, and I am only able to provide a general overview of what we found. I don't want to make claims based on speculation, since our work is ongoing. Because of the size of the skeletons, this has both anthropological and medical implications," according to the Cuenca High Life reports. Skeletal remains in Ecuador and Peru. In late 2013, Dement received word that a skeleton had been uncovered by a Shuar local about 70 miles from Cuenca in Loja province, Ecuador. Dement traveled to the site and recovered a rib cage and skull of a female exposed by flooding. The bones were thought to date to 600 years ago. The rest of the skeleton was located and, once assembled, reportedly measured 7 feet 4 inches in height. This prompted the formation of a research team, including 4 researchers from Freie Universität in Germany and the assistance of Shuar locals. The university provided funding for excavation and investigation. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. Recognizing it as a controversial area of research, Dement noted, "Even though I had been working with Frey for many years, I was concerned that they might not give a grant for someone looking for giants. To outsiders, especially scientists, I understand this sounds a little harebrained." So there are people that are giantologists that are not taken seriously. He said, "Because of the sensational nature of this, we have to be extremely diligent in our research, since it will be met with a great deal of skepticism. Within 6 months of excavations and mapping at 2 sites, the one outside of Cuenca and another settlement dating to about 1550 AD, approximately 20 miles away on the Ecuadorian-Peruvian border, the team had found 5 more tall skeletons as well as artifacts. Dement and colleagues believe that the tribe at the second site had been at the settlement for at least 150 years. The 3 complete skeletons and 2 partial skeletons had no disfiguration and suggested they were relatively healthy. Dement said the skeletons show no signs of disease, such as the hormonal growth problems that are common in most cases of gigantism. In all the skeletons, the joints seemingly healthy and the lung cavity appeared large. One of the skeletons that we have dated was of a female who was about 60 when she died, much older than typical cases of gigantism, reports Cuenca High Life. The burials were elaborate. Bodies were wrapped in leaves and buried in the thick clay. This sealed the skeletons and protected them against weather intrusion, leaving the remains in reasonably good condition. Legends come to life. It's reported that Dement had previously studied Amazon indigenous communities for more than 2 decades and had heard the legends of very tall, pale-skinned people who used to live nearby, he said. Community elders described Dement as a race of giant, peaceful Amazonians who were welcomed by the indigenous Shuar and Akwar people. However, the locals believe these people belonged to the quote-unquote spirit world and were purely mythical. Real-life giants. Since the announcement of this discovery, several reports have vastly exaggerated the dimensions of the finds, with 7 feet being reportedly at 7 meters, making them 23 feet tall. The bones have also erroneously been connected with hoax photos, such as reconstruction of an Ecuadorian giant, which was a fake skeleton for a now closed theme park in Switzerland. These false reports should not detract from the actual discovery of 7 to 8 feet skeletal remains in the Ecuadorian and Peruvian rainforest, which are being scientifically studied. While seeming to fit the ancient legend of a mythical race, such skeletons are not unheard of or unproven in scientific literature. Other such cases of highly tall humans or giants can easily be referred, such as Robert Wadlow, known as the Alton Giant, cited as the tallest person in recorded history. Wadlow was born in Alton, Illinois, in the U.S. in 1918, and at his death was 8 feet 11 inches, or 2.72 meters tall. Another of the many cases of modern gigantism include that of Charles Byrne, 1761 to 1783, so he was only 22 years old when he died, known as the Irish Giant, whose skeleton is now on display at the Royal College of Surgeons of England in London. Measurements of his skeleton measure him at approximately 7 feet 7 inches. Earlier this year, archaeologists in Bulgaria discovered the remains of what they have described as a huge skeleton in downtown Varna, a city in the shores of the Black Sea, whose rich culture and civilization span some 7,000 years. The size of the bones was said to be impressive, and that they belonged to a very tall man. As such cases exist in history, it stands to reason there were cases of individuals or even communities of people who were seen as giants to the ancients. The results of the reported Frey University research are to be published a year from now, according to Dement, who is said to be examining DNA samples from the Shuar communities near the excavation site to see if they connect with the skeletal remains from ancient settlement. Hopefully, the published information will shed light on the people who lived in the Amazonian rainforest hundreds of years ago and how they might have interacted with the Shuar and Akwar peoples, possibly sparking myths and beliefs passed down for generations, resulting in the legend of the Ecuadorian giants. This was originally published on Deshi News Post. It's on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.